Okay, welcome. Here we are, 35,000 feet above the South Pacific. Specifically, and I'll give $1 to anybody who recognizes where we are, the wonderful nation of New Zealand. I'm going to initiate our descent here, and then I'll start talking about just exactly what is going on and what has been happening. I'm going to begin our descent down to 10,000 feet. So nice not having to deal with air traffic control in the sim. Switch over to Knox units instead of Mach units, and we'll slow us. Begin our descent at 2,000 feet per minute. So we took off from Tahiti. How long ago? Let's see. 5 hours and 14 minutes ago. I started the timer just as we began our takeoff roll. So I estimated our arrival time at 5:35 Zulu, which is 6:35 Auckland time. I don't know if I said exactly where we were going, but we're going to Auckland, New Zealand, the North Island. And so pretty close. 5:35 Zulu. Right now my ForeFlight app is showing us 16 minutes from our destination. Obviously that's at our current airspeed, so probably a little bit more like 20. But if that's true, then that puts us in at 5:37 Zulu. So just 2 minutes late. Certainly not anything I can imagine anyone complaining about. Had another headwind. I mean, I tell you, this trip, which started out in Sacramento, California, went to Maui in Hawaii, and then from there to Tahiti, and then today from Tahiti to Auckland, New Zealand. Now I will say my original plan had been to go from Tahiti to Vanuatu, but I was very, very surprised to see that the main international airport at Vanuatu is not in the sim. I looked at and for it 100 different ways. I don't know if I was missing something, but I couldn't find it. So, in any event, I elected to take us to Auckland, New Zealand. Stay a little more civilized. Although that's not meant as a dig against Vanuatu. I guess I should use, instead of civilized, as perhaps more populated. That's a better way to say it. That's a more politically correct way to say it. Anyway, we are headed to our next waypoint, SF. A few little things I checked on during this long flight, which I've done in real time. MRAG. We need to be at 3,000 feet. I could not find, well, I'll be honest, I didn't look for any approach plates for Auckland Airport. Runway 23 left, which is where we're going to be landing. But if you look at the VFR map here, MRAG's right there, and according to the in-sim flight plan, we need to be at 3,000 feet at MRAG. So I'm going to postulate that that's about 10 miles. Happily, I don't have to guess, and here's why. The flight plan you see shows that MRAG 3,000 feet, Oreso, there's Oreso, 2560, FF23L 1670. The distances between these relative waypoints are listed. So from Oreso, FF23L, runway 23L, 4 plus 3 plus 6 for 13. So in any event, that's the plan. All right, we're making our left turn. One thing I have a little bit of, let's go ahead and disable our bank limiter. Allow us to make sharper turns. It'll slow us down a little bit more. Oh, finally seeing solid land after the last 5 hours of nothing but South Pacific. Anyways, I was saying one thing I'm a little concerned about. By the way, you see how wide that turn was? It was just because of that bank limitation right there, it just wasn't able to turn sharply enough. So we've disabled that for our approach, which is good. Because our next turn, as you can see, is just as sharp. That's when we get to MRAG. In any event, one thing I'm a little concerned about is that there is no, at least not in the sim, there's no ILS approach for runway 23 left. There's a RNAV approach, which I've programmed into the sim. The RNAV approach to 23 left whiskey. RNAV 23 left whiskey approach. But this will be my first RNAV approach in the longitude. So that is a little anxiety inducing. We'll go ahead and set our altitude selector at 3,000 feet, since we know that that's the, or at least we don't know it, but we have on information and belief reason to conclude that 3,000 feet is the altitude at which we should be when we get to MRAG. Right there, as I said. Still got quite a ways. This is the North Island you can see here. That's Auckland. There we go. So we're just fine when it comes to altitude. We're showing 56 seconds from Apabo. After that, our next waypoint is Omaha. And after Omaha is AA, Alpha Alpha 423. After that is VBAG, or VIVAG. Wait, there's another airplane here. Oh, probably not likely to come into play on this approach. In any case, descending nicely. Weather in Auckland currently, 66 degrees and mostly sunny. Winds are out of the southwest at 15 miles an hour. Altimeter is 3012. That's always nice to see altimeter in that range, just because it suggests clear weather. The runway, as I said, we're landing on is 23 left, and that's consistent with the winds being out of the southwest. 23 obviously is a directional heading pointed towards the west-southwest. so that's encouraging. Next waypoint, Omaha. You see here, Omaha. 6.9 nautical miles from Omaha, and roughly 66 seconds. I am going to be pretty conservative on this approach, in as much as I haven't yet done a non-precision approach in the sim. Go ahead and get ready here. Activate our landing lights. And prepare ourselves for what promises to be interesting. But when isn't it interesting? In flight sim. One thing I will say that does give me some small measure of relief, and that is that the runway here that we're landing at, runway 23 left, is 12,000 feet long, which is nice. It gives us, like our landing in Tahiti, we're not in a rush to stick the landing. I need to float a little bit, I'll float a little bit. It's not the end of the world. I took note of the fact that the runway we're landing at, 23 left. Well, I looked at an airport diagram of Auckland International, and I was intrigued to see that there didn't appear to be any other parallel runways. So I said to myself, why does it say 23 left if there's only one runway? 23 left suggests that there should be a 23 right or a 23 center. But what I found in my research of the airport in question was that there's plans to build another runway. Apparently not supposed to get under, or at least not to be completed until 2025. So I think that explains it. Nearest altimeter is 1020. That's in hectopascals. Equivalent on imperial units is 3012, which is exactly what my Apple iPhone told me the atmospheric pressure was in Auckland, showing us 9 minutes 18 seconds and passing through 10,800 for 3,000. I remain divorced from ATC. Glad that I am. However, I do note, if you see here, ATC told me descend and maintain 3,000, expect VOR DME Whiskey, runway 23 left approach via MRAG transition, cleared to MRAG. So that's actually interesting because that's exactly what I am descending to. Before I even knew that, I swear to God, before I even knew that, I plugged in 3,000 as my descent altitude. In other words, I programmed it in to descend to 3,000. And I mentioned MRAG. That's funny. Well, who knows? This might have been an instance where ATC worked, but I'm sure you can understand. Going a little faster than we should. That I'm not willing to risk a situation, regrettably, the likes of which I've encountered before, where they forget to tell me to descend, or they don't tell me to descend until the last possible second, and it's not a good situation. So anyway, we're not having to worry about that now. But happily, I've been playing this game long enough over the last, 86, 96, 06, 16, 34 years, that I can basically handle the approach myself. We'll shallow out our descent right now. continue at decelerating. Bank angle, I did turn that off. A few other airplanes out floating around here. There's one. Hopefully we don't have any traffic conflicts. I can still check in on what ATC has said without having to be bothered with the annoyance of the constant interruptions and the regrettably often inaccurate information contained therein. Keep speed below 220. Okay, that's what ATC told us. Well, that's... Man, I'm batting 1,000. But I got our airspeed selected at 220. We are headed to VBAG right now, 13.5 nautical miles from VBAG, 3 minutes, 22 seconds, descending at 1,400 feet per minute, which means we'll be at 3,000 feet well before we need to be. Not in any way that makes it unsafe. But frankly, I'd rather be a little too... In an area like this, where I have terrain awareness, and it's beautiful weather, I'd rather be a little too low than a little too high, because... and I do include that codicil, that it needs to be in weather like this. But you know, if you're a little too low, all you need to do all you need to do until you're at the right altitude is wait. But if you're too high, you need to initiate some high-speed descent, which is I've had to do because of ATC before, and it's just not very fun. In any case, looking closely here, showing us 2 minutes 17 seconds from VBAG, and then after that is MRAG. Remember, we need to be at 3,000 feet at MRAG. You see right here. 3,000 feet right there. And so, and we're at 4,450 feet, descending at 400 feet per minute. Very conservative. Actually getting beautiful views here of the Northern Islands, New Zealand. Continue our slow down here. Basically in 5-knot increments. But it's showtime now, fellas, ladies and gentlemen. Proof's going to be in the pudding. I did, I will confess, finally activate unlimited fuel because, not because I disfavor realism, quite the contrary, but the in-sim is just using fuel far, far, far too fast. And this airport, Auckland, is about, oh, I don't know, 2,700 miles from Tahiti, which again is well within the range of the Cessna Longitude. But in the sim, it's not within the range, which is really a function of the fact that the sim is not, the modeling is not right. It's burning more fuel than it should. Well, as I'm sure some of you can identify, I have things to do. And I don't just sit here for 5.5 hours. I step away, I mow the lawn, I do chores, I make dinner, I do dishes, and so forth. I can't sit and worry about crashing into the sea because of bad modeling, which will hopefully be patched soon. Okay, so we're headed to MRAG now. That's our next destination. We're 3.9 nautical miles from MRAG. 70 seconds, 68 seconds from MRAG. Leveling out now at 3,000 feet, but we don't want to stop our descent necessarily. Or at least if we do, we still want to have further descent instructions pre-programmed in. We'll set that at 1,200 feet. But remember, they told us to descend to 3,000 feet, proceed direct to MRAG. And we know from our flight plan that we need to be at 3,000 feet at MRAG. Just out of curiosity, see if they... see, this is great. You see this? Expedite your climb to 9,000 feet. This is why. This is one of those moments where I'm reminded how pleased I am that I'm not dealing with ATC AI bullshit, because that is what it is. Make no mistake. Okay, we'll initiate our right turn now. Do 1 notch of flaps. Get ready. This is the long, not that long actually, but it is straight. Another notch of flaps.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
That repetitive landing gear alarm is because of the number, the flap extension that I have right now, and now that I've straightened out, leveled out on final approach, I will deploy landing gear. We'll slow our airspeed to 155 and do full flap deployment. You hear the throttle there? And there's the runway. Switch over to approach. We'll see if we grab the glide path or not. I do need to actually descend, because this is telling me we need to. Let's see if this starts to float up here. It should. Okay, just checking that. Here's the runway. I see white and red on the poppy. That's good. Tells me that we're not unreasonably high, neither high nor low. Beautiful. Wow, what beautiful country. Oh, I see some planes. I was trying to think if in all of my adventures in Flight Sim, if I'd ever landed, and by adventures I mean in the last 34 years, if I'd ever landed in New Zealand, and I don't believe I have. So that makes this even all the more interesting. Full flaps, you see right here. Full flaps. Deactivate our auto throttle. You see this is finally coming up. Thank God. Reconfirming what I already suspected, and now I think we're just about to grab the glide path. Should grab the glide path. Come on. God, you know, it's really amazing how much time you spend staring at the instruments and not looking out the window. We're good, though. Come on, grab that. Turn green, son of a bitch. It's okay if it doesn't, but it should. There it goes. Yes. Yes. Oh, that makes me happy. Okay, let's get our airspeed. Airspeed's 157. Better to have it more about 149. At least that's what it is in the approach speed in this sim. There is somebody, looks like there's somebody coming in behind us. Looking good though. I'm seeing 2 whites, 2 reds. By the way, looks like we're about 5.5 minutes.
500.
There it is. About 5.5 minutes behind schedule. Autopilot disengaged.
Autopilot.
I have the airplane. Just remember, nice long runway. No reason to get excited. Two whites, 2 reds. Runway 23 confirmed. Idle. Floating a little again. There we go. All right. Well, that was exciting. There we go. You know, it just amazes me that you can have a game like this that doesn't have zombies or shooting or explosions. And I mean, I'm telling you, I don't want to know what my heart rate is right now. Okay, that was fantastic. I will take it. All right, so let's go ahead and come to a stop here just for a second and clean up the airplane. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in the flaps. There we go. And I think our auto spoilers are deployed. Yes, they are. You see them there? Let's bring those in. Good. And let's fix that stupid camera problem. There we go. And let's go ahead and turn off our landing lights, turn on our taxi lights. Check our arrival time here, 5:42, 5:43 Zulu. So about, actually I guess when we touch down, probably about 7 minutes behind schedule thanks to the stupid winds, but certainly acceptable. I think we're good to taxi. Turn off those pulse lights. Okay, so let's do that. It's local time here in New Zealand is 6:43 p.m. Let's go ahead and taxi to parking. There are other airplanes landing. Can't see that on my MFD. And it appears also taking off. I don't know what's going on with this. These planes that are coming in. What are they in formation? Can you see that? There's 2 airplanes. Oh dear. Well, anyway, it doesn't concern me because I am safe on the ground in New Zealand after a 5-hour and 45-minute flight. Oh, he's doing a go around. See? Anyway, after a 5-hour and 45-minute flight from Tahiti, I'm in Auckland, New Zealand, where I'm planning to drive to the Sofitel, which I noticed on Google is a 55-minute drive, which I can't confess that I'm thrilled about, given the fact that I just did 5.5 hours across the South Pacific. But it looks like a nice joint. That much I can tell you. There's a lot of planes flying around this airport. What's this guy doing? Keep in mind, this is real time traffic, so other simmers are flying around Auckland right now. And if you think about it, those who live in New Zealand, for them, it's, you know, dinner time, or they just finished dinner, or they have to get their asses on the ground because dinner's about to start, or whatever. For me, it's local time's 9:45 p.m. It's been a hell of a long day, and I'm actually ready for bed. But I had to finish this flight. So we got our little half-hour episode just about finished here. Let's go ahead and taxi over to parking. Let's put the girl to bed. And be thankful for another fun flight in the sim. Come quite a way in the Longitude. Started in Sacramento. There he goes. Taking off. Started in Sacramento. And from there to Maui, and then to Tahiti, and now here we are in Auckland, New Zealand. Goodness gracious. Gotta love the range on this baby. That said, however, I am still ready to turn in. Or at the very least, go and resume my viewing of the great 1980s classic Predator. Who doesn't like Predator, right? All right, we're just 1/10 of a mile from our parking spot. Let's get parked. Take a look outside. Boy, there are a lot of planes. 1, 2, 3. A lot of planes in the area. Okay, there's our parking spot. Kind of nice to see signs of civilization again, however. Ooh, there's a big boy. That's an A380, my friends. Airbus A380, double-decker. Beautiful plane. Flew on an A380 to Munich last year, right before everything went to shit, COVID. Oh, that's nice. All right. Oh, what are they doing? Giving us a gate? That works for me. All right. I don't know if we're going to get flashlights or not, but yeah, we are going to get flashlights. All right, here we go. There they are. Okay. Roll it on up. Come on. Give me the X. Almost. There we go. Done. Okay. Parking brake. There we go. And let's kill those engines. Go ahead and check outside, make sure everything looks good. Oh my God. Look at that bird. Yeah, we're getting a little sunset. Not quite. You know, I guess you have to remember that it's spring down there. Late spring, almost summer. Look at that A380. What is this? Is that a Cessna? Look at the size. That's funny. Anyway, this was just fantastic. Really fantastic. All right, let's kill the lights. There we go. All right, and then let's see. What else can I kill power-wise? I still need to get the official shutdown procedures. There we go. All right. Well, that was fun. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Beautiful. I love this plane. I love the Longitude. Look at that. Look at it. It's stunning. 343 Bravo Whiskey. All right. Look at this. Look at this. This is like Thunderdome. All these airplanes on final. Oh, God, I'm so glad. How did I freaking thread that needle and get in here without having any traffic conflicts? That's pretty good. Okay, I'll shut up. Okay, safe in Auckland. Off to the Sofitel and a magnificently huge cocktail and steak dinner. That's what I need after that and after today. Ugh. All right, take care, everybody. Stay healthy.